Alright, today you're going to be writing equations of lines in slope-intercept form. You're going to be writing equations of lines in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is when y is equal to mx plus b. Where the m represents the slope of the line, and whatever is after the x represents the y-intercept of the line. In the first part of your practice today, you're going to be given the slope and you're going to be given the y-intercept and you're going to write the equation. In the second part of your assignment, you're going to be given 2 points. And you're going to have to find the slope first, and then you're going to have to substitute, and you're going to have to find the y-intercept, and then you're going to write the equation. Got it? So the first examples we're going to do, we're going to write an equation in slope-intercept form with the given information. Alright, so if you're given the m, which represents the slope, and your m is 4, and your y-intercept is -3, and you have to write an equation for that line, you simply write y equals 4 times x minus 3. If you're told that the slope is equal to 1/2 and your y-intercept is equal to -1, then the equation of the line would be y equals 1/2 x minus 1. Alright, let's say now that the slope is equal to 0 and your y-intercept is equal to 4. If you follow this same pattern, y would be equal to 0x plus 4. But do you ever write 0 times x? You need to clean this up, because what's 0 times x equal to? 0. And what's 0 plus 4 equal to? 4. So this equation would be y equals 4. Alright, that's a horizontal line. If your m is equal to negative 2/5. And your y-intercept is equal to 0. If you followed the template or the form, you would write y equals negative 2/5 x plus 0. But do you ever see plus 0 on the end of an equation? You don't, so you don't write it. It's implied that it's out there, alright? So if you see an equation in this form and there's nothing after the x, there's no b out there, that means that the y-intercept of that line is 0. Alright, so everybody good with that? The second part of your assignment today, you're going to be asked to write an equation in slope-intercept form given 2 points on the line. Bless you. Alright. So we're going to start off with, we got 0, negative 1, and 4, 4. You need to write the equation in slope-intercept form, and you're not given the slope or the y-intercept. So you need to find those, okay? You need to find the slope first. You need to solve for your m. So you did that yesterday. If you're given 2 points and you need the slope, you label your points. That's your x1 and your y1. And then you plug them into the slope formula. So your y sub 2 is 4 minus your y sub 1, which is negative 1. And your x sub 2 is 4 minus your x sub 1, which is 0. So you're subtracting a negative. That's a keep, change, change. So 4 plus 1 is 5. And 4 minus 0 is 4. So the slope of your line is 5/4. Now, you need the b, don't you? Okay? So write this on your paper. In order to find the y-intercept substitute x, y, and m into y equals mx plus b and solve for b. You understand that? You need to write an equation in slope-intercept form. You're not given the slope and you're not given the y-intercept. You're given 2 points. With 2 points, you can find the slope of a line. So you find the slope. In this case, it's 5/4. If you know the slope and 1 point on the line, you can substitute those values into y equals mx plus b, and you can solve for b. Because you'll have a y, you'll have an m, and you'll have an x. Once you know the y-intercept and the slope, you can write the line in slope-intercept form. Alright, so this next part, we're going to substitute. And I'm going to use the second point. I'm going to use the 4, 4 point. So the y value is going to be 4 equals, our slope is 5/4 times 4 plus b. And now you can solve for b. So 4 is equal to 5/4 times 4. 5/4 times 4. You do it in your calculator, the 4's are going to cancel. It's equal to 5 plus b. You can subtract 5 from each side. And -1 is equal to your b. So now you have the slope, you have the y-intercept, you can write the equation in slope-intercept form. So the equation in slope-intercept form for a line that goes through those 2 points is going to be y equals 5/4 x minus 1. There's your equation. Any questions there? All right, let's do one more of those. All right, so we're doing the same thing. We're writing a line in slope-intercept form that goes through the 2 points, and now the 2 points are going to be, we're going to go at 6, 5. And -1, -4. Alright, so in slope-intercept form, you need the slope and you need the y-intercept. So we're going to find the slope first. Label these points, your x1, y1, your x sub 2, and your y sub 2. So your m is going to be equal to -4 minus 5 over -1 minus 6. -4 minus 5, that's -9. -6, -1 minus 6, -7. And now remember, if you got a -9 over a -7, the negative divided by a negative equals a positive, so the whole slope becomes 9/7. Now, you know the slope and you know the 2 points. You pick one of the points to substitute the x and y values into the equation so that you can solve for b, which is the y-intercept. And I'm going to use this point because both of those values are positive. So if your y equals mx plus b, and I substitute for the y, I use a 5. My slope is 9/7. My x value is 6. And that's going to be plus b. So 5 is equal to 9/7 times 6. That's 7 5/7, or 54/7. So 54/7 plus b. If you subtract 54/7 from each side, (5 minus 54/7 is equal to -2 5/7, which is -19/7. Alright, so there's your y-intercept for this line. So, if you've got the slope and you got the y-intercept, your equation in slope-intercept form will be y equals 9/7 x minus 19/7. Alright, so that's writing equations given the slope and the y-intercept, and then writing equations given 2 points on the line. Anybody have any questions? Okay. Your assignment for today is going to be on page 202. (13 through 18), and then 25 through 30.